TV15 Education, Vitamin for Competitive Examinations. इसे डिटेल में समझते हैं. I am your host, Dinesh Kumar Pandey, and today we're stepping into a masterclass to decode the microscopic machinery that literally keeps you alive. We're going to skip the boring textbook reading today. Instead, we're breaking this whole thing down using logic, pure science, and some absolutely foolproof memory tricks.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Here's our syllabus for the explainer. We'll start with vitamins as the body's engine oil, look at water versus fat solubility, tackle major vitamins and their deficiency diseases, go over some incredibly handy B-complex tricks, and wrap up with a master chart of high-yield one-liners. Let's begin.
All right, part 1, vitamins as the body's engine oil. So, we're looking at the foundational blueprint of how your body actually functions. Vitamins are organic compounds, right? They were named by a scientist named Casimir Funk way back in 1912. But here's the kicker, the really fascinating part. Vitamins give you absolutely 0 calories, literally 0 energy. So why do we even need them to survive? Well, think of your body like a car engine. The carbs and fats you eat, that's your petrol. But can a car run on just petrol? No way. It needs engine oil and spark plugs to keep all that machinery running smoothly without friction. Vitamins are that essential engine oil. They don't give you energy directly, but they act as vital coenzymes. Without them, the metabolic reactions that actually turn your food into energy would completely stall out, leading to what we call deficiency diseases.
Moving on to Part 2, Solubility Rules, Water versus Fat.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the crucial distinction in how our body stores these vitamins. And I've got 2 brilliant memory tricks for you here. For water-soluble vitamins, just remember the acronym WBC, water, B, and C. Because they dissolve in water, your kidneys are constantly filtering the excess out every day through your urine. Your body simply cannot store them. That means you've got to get vitamins B and C from fresh fruits and veggies every single day. Now, for fat-soluble vitamins, remember the word keta. Yep, like the Hindi word for insect, K, E, D, and A. Think about it logically. A keta doesn't dissolve in water, it stays right there in the fat. These vitamins bind with fats and are safely stored away in your liver, acting as a reservoir for months.
Let's jump into Part 3, Major Vitamins and the Diseases Caused by Their Absence.
Imagine you're in the exam hall. The pressure is high, the clock is ticking, and chemical names are just, well, they can be confusing. But here is your foolproof trick. Just remember the phrase Roth, Ache, Toffee. As soon as you sit down, write the letters A, B, C, D, E, and K straight down your scratch pad. Then write Roth, Ache, Toffee right next to them. Look how perfectly it lines up. Ra aligns with vitamin A for retinol, Tha links to B for thiamine, A for C is ascorbic acid, K for D is calciferol, To for E is tocopherol, and Phi for K is phylloquinone. You see? You don't need to stress over memorizing the full complicated names. Just match that first phonetic sound and your brain is going to instantly recognize the right multiple choice option.
And guess what? We can do the exact same thing for deficiency diseases. Just use the phrase Rave Sare Vahan Par. Again, line up your vitamins A through K. Ra gives you night blindness, or Raudathundi, for A. V is beriberi for B. Sa is scurvy for C. Ray is rickets for D. Now check out the clever hint in Vahan for E. Phonetically, Va links perfectly to the Ba sound in Banjpan, which means infertility. And finally, Par for K directly links to platelets. That reminds you that a deficiency means absolutely no blood clotting. It's just a simple phonetic trick, but it creates this incredibly reliable chain reaction in your memory. And this brilliantly illustrates the real-world science behind all this. Vitamin A isn't just about preventing night blindness. Scientists actually consider it the vaccine vitamin. It acts like a literal shield, keeping the mucous membranes on your internal organs moist and strong, so external pathogens just can't get in. In fact, it's so vital that scientists genetically engineered golden rice to contain it, with the goal of saving millions from blindness. Then we have vitamin C. This is the master engineer that builds collagen, which is basically the cement your body needs for wound healing. But here is the top secret. Vitamin C's molecular structure is incredibly delicate. It is super heat sensitive. If you boil or heavily fry your vegetables, boom, the vitamin C is completely destroyed. That's exactly why eating raw salads isn't just some diet trend, it's a scientific necessity.
Let's see how this builds our understanding of cellular protection with vitamins D and E. Now, vitamin D is completely unique because it actually acts as an active hormone in your body, literally telling your intestines to absorb calcium. And here's a crazy fact.
sunlight itself doesn't actually contain vitamin D. The UV rays merely act as a switch. When they hit your skin, they activate the underlying cholesterol and your body manufactures vitamin D internally. Pretty cool, right? Then there's vitamin E, which a lot of people call the beauty vitamin. Why? Because it's a fiercely powerful antioxidant. It fights off the free radicals that cause oxidative stress, wrinkles, and cellular aging. It's essentially a shield that safeguards both your youthful skin and your reproductive health.
Okay, consider this absolutely incredible fact about vitamin K. Its main job is to make sure our blood clots when we get a cut. We all know we can get it from leafy greens, but a huge portion of it is actually manufactured inside us by E. coli bacteria living right now in our large intestine. It's straight out of a sci-fi movie. We give these bacteria food and a warm place to live, and in return, they act as microscopic factories, churning out the very vitamin that stops us from bleeding to death. This symbiotic relationship is exactly why heavy doses of antibiotics can be so dangerous. They can wipe out these friendly bacteria, severely compromising your body's ability to clot blood.
Section 4. Time for some vitamin B complex tricks.
Now, you might be wondering, why do we call it a complex? Well, it's because these distinct chemical compounds almost always show up together in nature. Where you find one in a natural food source, you'll usually find the rest of the family hanging out too. And because it's a big family, they can be tough to memorize. But here is your visual cheat sheet and trick phrase. Thora nu pat par basa. Write out the B vitamins. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, and 12. Then just match up the syllables. Thora is thiamine for B1. Ra is riboflavin for B2. Nu links to niacin for B3. Pad is pantothenic acid for B5. Par is pyridoxine for B6. Ba is biotin for B7, which by the way uses sulfur to strengthen your hair. And Sa is cyanocobalamin for B12. Lock that sequence in and you've just rapidly decoded the entire B complex.
So the crucial point we really need to understand here is the terrible cost of modern food processing. Take polished white rice, for example. When the bran is polished off just to make the rice look bright and attractive on a store shelf, all the vitamin B1, the thiamine, is literally thrown away. Relying heavily on this stripped-down rice leads to beriberi, which is a severe disease causing muscular paralysis, simply because the nervous system loses its metabolic first gear. And then consider vitamin B3, niacin. A deficiency here causes pellagra, which is chillingly known as the 4D disease. Why? Because it progresses from diarrhea to dermatitis to dementia and eventually death. It just goes to show exactly how vital these micronutrients are for powering your body.
Now here is a really fascinating neurological secret that connects an abstract chemical to something we all experience: vitamin B6, pyridoxine. Neuroscientists have figured out that B6 is absolutely crucial for the brain to produce neurotransmitters like serotonin, which regulate our sleep cycles. Without enough B6 in your system, your brain actually struggles to properly encode those nighttime visuals into your memory. So, if you are someone who constantly wakes up and can almost never remember your dreams, well, you might just be running low on vitamin B6.
Let's take a close look at vitamin B12, cyanocobalamin. The prefix cyano is actually a massive hint. It points to the fact that it literally contains the blue metal cobalt. And interestingly enough, it can be found in rainwater. Soil bacteria produce it, and it just gets swept right up into the natural water cycle. But here is the absolutely critical takeaway for you. Plants do not produce B12, period. It is found almost exclusively in animal products. Because of this, strict vegans are at a massive risk for B12 deficiency once their liver's backup reserves run out. That can lead to pernicious anemia and permanent nervous system damage. So if you are strictly plant-based, supplementing B12 isn't optional, it is an absolute necessity.
Finally, Part 5, our master chart and high-yield recap. Let's lock this in. Let's take a mental snapshot of these absolute must-know facts right now. Golden rice, that's biotechnology specifically engineered to contain vitamin A. Wound healing, that's all vitamin C, acting as your body's head engineer, building the collagen cement that binds your skin back together. And never forget the self-synthesized wonders. Vitamin D, created by your skin using sunlight as a switch, and vitamin K, synthesized by those symbiotic gut bacteria. When you're sitting in that exam hall staring at the paper, these visual associations are going to flash right back into your memory, guaranteeing you those crucial marks.
Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with a rather provocative thought. Today, we eat highly processed foods where the heat, the polishing, and the chemical refinement strip away almost all of our natural vitamins. Now, we've seen how brilliantly our body acts as a self-sustaining factory, making its own vitamin D and K with a little help from nature. So, as we continue to consume these nutrient-depleted, lab-altered diets,
Will human evolution eventually force our bodies to adapt and synthesize all vitamins internally? Or are we forever doomed to rely on artificial, plastic-bottled supplements just to keep our biological engines from completely stalling out? Think about that the next time you look at your dinner plate. Thanks for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning, keep questioning, and I'll see you in the next one.